Welcome, everybody. This is Jason, and the name of this week's workshop is Game On. This one is about self-referencing behaves, so let's have a look. What are self-referencing behaves? A self-referencing behave is a behave that uses a special command, that's test object type, to refer to itself, or more accurately, a part of itself in the third person. So when you create a new standalone object like a poker table or a game table, the game needs to reference specific tiles, in the case of game tables, poker tables, mahjong tables, it needs specific player positions. But in the case of elevators or, for example, bathroom stalls, it's looking for one specific tile. So that's what a self-referencing behave is. The command line test object type is looking for a specific tile. And what objects use self-referencing behaves? This list isn't exhaustive, but poker tables, mahjong tables, family game tables, above ground hot tubs, toilet stalls, and elevators. So to get started, we clone a poker table or a mahjong table in the case of this workshop, just as we normally would. We update the GMDC, the TXTR, and the CTSS just as we normally would. We commit and save our changes. Then before we move on, we go to the behave in the resource tree, and then we select just any behave from the resource list. We make sure that down below on the right side of the plugin, special buttons is checked, and we click on GIDS. Then a dropdown is going to pop up. What we need to select from that dropdown is create all packages. It's probably going to take a few minutes, but it's going to build a little table that references all of the Maxis GIDs, and that's what we need it to do. Then we go to the OBJD, and we want to right click on the instance header in the resource list so that we sort it descending. And we can see that we have now sorted it in order. And we can see that there are 4 specific GIDs that have player positions: north, west, east, and south. So we're going to go through and replace our GIDs just as we normally would. But what we want to do is notate those player positions. So we just get out our trusty notepad. We notate those 4 positions. Then we select the behave in the resource tree. We look for a specific behave in init neighbor tiles in the resource list. In this case, it's behave number 3. And then we look for a command line specifically that says test object type. So in this instance, it's telling it to go to the north player's position, but it's referencing the original Maxis GID. So then on the right side of the plugin, we look at the opcode, and we can see that it's referencing the original Maxis GID, but the order is kind of funny. So we've got the 7th and 8th characters in the first box, then the 5th and 6th, then the 3rd and 4th, and then the 1st and 2nd. So it's kind of funky the way that it's ordered. So what we would need to do is, okay, it no longer needs to reference the Maxis GID. It needs to reference our new GID that we just assigned it. So what we do, we enter, working backwards, the 7th and 8th in the first box, the 5th and 6th in the second box, the 3rd and 4th in the third box, and the 1st and 2nd in the 4th box. We need to commit that, and we need to repeat that for all of the command lines that reference a player position that we just save, and we're ready to test. Okay, so to put it into practice, specifically for a poker table, we're going to go to Hobbies, Recreation, and we just grab this first one, the 52 pickup card table. We clone. We don't mess with the clone settings. I'm just going to call this Workshop Card Table. Just like that. Copy it down here. And we'll make that about 350. Just rename the scene graph. And I'm going to save that in my project folder. Just like that. So we go to the GMDC and have a look at the plugin. Now I've already gone ahead and shared the files that I'm going to be using today, but I don't remember if I did the 5GD right. So this is the poker table that I'm using. So I'm just going to go File, Export, Unimesh, save right over Workshop Poker Table. And that's fine. Then we select the TS locator GMDC. We right click, we replace, and we go Workshop Poker Table. Now you can see that we've got a new group named Table, which doesn't have a texture assigned to it. And the normals aren't lovely. I don't like that. So we go to I'm going to add a subset right quick. So we just clone the poker table. We build DXT. And we want this table, the table texture, because the other one is for the Mahjong table. Then we commit, go to the TXMT. Not worried about null. I'm not worried about shadows. The one that I want is felt. We clone. Table. And I have covered this before. There's a good workshop about this. It's called Subset Boulevard. It's all about adding subsets. Going to call that table. For this one, I'm just doing something really simple. So I want the untagged, not the root rot. We'll just add. And we're going to call this subset table. And it points to the table material. So we just quick and dirty build an extra subset. And we go Tools, Object Tools, Fix Integrity. We don't click Update. Oh, because I forgot to rename it. So oh, the TXCR is not the one, is the one that I didn't rename. Okay, so there are two TXTRs with the same name. Give that a quick save. Pop back over to my TS locator. And we're good to go. Okay, so now the actual lesson. We go to the OBJD. We sort instance by descending. And then we need our GIDs. So we start workshop Mahjong, and we just replace that GID. And we can update in this case, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. I'm not making it recolorable. And then that one becomes 5. And then this one becomes 6. And that's a 7. That one's an 8. That one's a 9. And that will we change the last character to A. That one becomes B. That one becomes C. And that one becomes D. So we commit those. Let's go ahead and give it a quick save. And then we go to behave. We make sure that special buttons is enabled. We click GIDS and we go create all packages. And ideally you should have done that first, but it's not a huge deal. It's just going to rebuild the table. Do you want to save the GID index now? Just go default. Okay, so now we know what's what. So we go back to the OBJD. We select that north tile. And we pop open our trusty notepad. And we just need to notate the player positions. So that one is north. The one ending in F6 is north. And then that one is west. And then that one is east. And finally, the one for south. Just copy it, paste it here, and we make a note that it's south. Okay. Now we have the player positions. We go to our behave. We look specifically for init neighbor tiles. This is the one that we need here. We can see that this has the default Maxis poker table GID. What we need to do is enter our GID, our new GID, into this behave. So we start with F6. And we tab, because the last two characters here are F6. Then our next two characters are 09, tab, then 30, tab over, and DF. Now, it's pointing to get DF3009F6. And here we have DF3009F6. Then we go to the south player position. So south ends in FC. So we go FC, then 09, then 30, then DF. So we've got DF3009FC. So we're good here. Then we grab the east player position. So that one ends in FA. 09, 30, DF. And finally, the west player's position. West is F8. So F8, then tab over 09, 30, DF. We commit. And that is it. So the poker table should now be ready to test. Now we start over. We start. And let me find the Mahjong table. For blessing Mahjong table. Next. And I'm just going to call it workshop Mahjong table. Make the price $350. Workshop Mahjong table. And I'm just going to save it as workshop Mahjong table. Okay. Back to the plugin view. So again, we do the GMDC. So we don't have a lot going on here. We just got one table, one texture that we need to replace. So we'll just import. And the one that says Mahjong. Oh, that's not correct. Okay. Never mind. So we open our table 2 in Milkshape. And you can see we've got this nice round table. So we go File, Export. And I'm just going to save right over Mahjong. Then import. And we just replace. What is up? Oh, I messed up. Okay, so we should only have table Mahjong surface. So now we import that and we replace table Mahjong surface. And now we build the XT. And we're going to grab the table 2 texture from the resource post. We just build like so. I'm not sure why it has those. Okay, so I've got a regular old table. Now, we go to our OBJD. We're going to do just as we did before. We go to our git. This time I'm grabbing. Oh, I did that backwards. I grabbed the Mahjong first. So this time I need poker. Well, I'm using the poker gids on the Mahjong table because I already used the Mahjong gids. So we replace that. Starting with FE, we commit. This one is FF. And then grab, start over in this new column. The 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, almost there. We got 3 more. 5, 6, and 7. We give that a quick save. And because we already built our table for the poker table, our behave table for the poker table, we don't need to go back and do that again. That's just a one and done thing. So now we select the OBJD, or we select the one for the north player position. We notate that on our trusty notepad. I go west. West. Then we go east. East. And finally south. So we notate our new player positions. Then we go to behave, and the Mahjong has quite a few behaves. But we want that the rest of these just have to do with how the game works. It's basically the same concept. We want init neighbor tiles. So we can see that this is pointing to the Maxis, the GID for the Maxis north player position. So now we need to replace it. We start off with 0, 0. Then 0A, 3, 0, DF. And then we do south. South is 0, 6. So we go 0, 6. And sorry, 0A, 9, 0, DF. Then we look for east. East is 0, 4, 0A, 3, 0, DF. And we go to west. West is 0, 2. So we go 0, 2, 0A, and then what is it? 3, 0, DF. So we check our work, and they appear to all be pointing to the correct tiles. So we commit, and we save. Okay, so as you can see, I now have my Mahjong table and my workshop poker table set up, and I have some sims that are ready to play. So what we do, we go ahead and select the sims and have them play.
Hebsy.
So there you go. As you can see, if you don't fix the self-referencing behaves, they won't be able to access the poker table. But as you can see here, they have access to all of the different player tiles, meaning that the self-referencing behaves are fixed correctly. And that's pretty much it. That is self-referencing behaves.